Let's take a look at logging and data structures. Data in Elasticsearch is stored in an index, and an index is a collection of documents that usually share similar characteristics. Documents contain data that are formatted in field name value pairs. In this example, you can see source.ip as the field name. This would be the ECS compliant name. And 192.168.1.10 is the value. The field name and the value are separated by a colon. These values can be mapped to different data types. Each field contains a data type, which dictates what kinds of searches and operations can be used on that field. When we get into Discover within Kibana, you'll notice an icon next to the field names. This denotes what type of data it is, and we will point that out in the demo during the next lesson. We have commonly used data types. First, we have date, which is going to allow for searching by ranges of time. This can be last 15 minutes, last 7 days, last 7 months, for example. With numbers, these are numeric values. They include long, which are your whole numbers or integers, and double, which includes decimal points. We can do mathematical operations on these types like greater than or less than. Strings are going to be text, and then IPs allow searching for ranges of IP addresses using CIDR notation. So this would be great for limiting results to either our internal or external network. To be ECS compliant, you need to conform to both the field name and the data type. Elastic Common Schema is designed by defining a common set of document fields for data ingested into Elasticsearch. Here you can see that there are 3 types of data field levels. We've got core, extended, and custom. Core fields are your commonly used fields across different data sources. An example of those would be your source and destination IPs and ports. Extended fields are less commonly used and more of a narrow use case, and an example of that would be like client.registered_domain. And then lastly, you have custom fields. If your data doesn't fit into core or extended, you can create your own field names, but they still need to follow the same nested field principle of ECS. We do have an ECS reference. It looks like this where you can see the different field sets. For example, if I click on destination, you'll get information on the destination fields, a description, and then the level, whether they're core or extended. For example, your destination IP, this is going to be a core field and the type is IP. This is going to allow us to do CIDR ranges on this field name. We covered what ECS is and how it defines a common set of fields for ingesting data into Elasticsearch. We talked about the challenges we faced when working with data from multiple sources without any kind of schema. Data normalization keeps your data the same while increasing search speed and efficiency. Remember, only the field name is changed to the naming standard. With logging and data structures, we learned about how an index stores data, and then each index contains documents with field value pairs. Fields also have an associated data type, which dictates the types of searches and operations that can be performed on that field.